Christmas. The season of joy, warmth, and togetherness. A time when families gather. Homes glow with lights and laughter fills the night air. But in one quiet town of California, the sound of Christmas carols was replaced by screams, fire, and death. This is the true story of the Covina Massacre, one of the most horrifying Christmas crimes in American history. A tragedy now remembered as the Santa Claus Massacre, December 24, 2008, Covina, California, a calm suburban neighborhood near Los Angeles. Families were celebrating. Children were opening gifts. It was the kind of night where danger felt impossible. But at 11:50 p.m., 10 minutes before midnight, the 911 call center's phone suddenly came alive. A woman's voice, one shaking, terrified, screamed for help. Her daughter had been shot in the face. Before the operator could even ask for an address, other calls poured in. People were crying, shouting, "Mum, there's an explosion! A house is on fire!" People are screaming. When the first police units arrived, they were met with a sight straight out of hell. Flames consumed an entire home. The fire was so intense that firefighters couldn't get close for almost half an hour. Neighbors stood in the street, some in pajamas, some barefoot and watching in disbelief. By the time the fire was out, 9 people were dead. 3 were wounded. Among the injured, an 8-year-old girl fighting for her life after being shot in the face. And the shooter? Witnesses said he was dressed as Santa Claus. Inside that burning house was the Ortega family, Joseph Ortega, 79, and his wife Alicia, hosting their annual Christmas Eve party. It was their favorite tradition. Every year, over 24 family members gathered to eat, play cards, and celebrate until midnight. That night, the mood was warm and full of laughter. Children ran around with toys. Music played softly in the background. Then, the doorbell rang. One of the family members went to open it. Outside stood a man dressed as Santa, red suit, white beard, holding a large red gift box and a bag over his shoulder. Everyone smiled. They thought it was the neighbor who always dressed as Santa to entertain the kids. Nobody could have imagined what was about to happen next. The man stepped inside, but instead of saying Merry Christmas, he reached into the bag and pulled out 2 handguns. Without a word, he aimed and fired. The first bullet struck 8-year-old Katrina in the face. Then he opened fire on everyone else in the room. Screams filled the house. The cheerful sounds of Christmas were replaced by the echoes of gunfire and terror. Some tried to hide under the table. Some ran for the door. But the man in the Santa suit was relentless. He shot at anything that moved. Leticia, one of Sylvia Ortega's sisters, grabbed her daughter and jumped out the window, cutting her arms on the glass. Her husband tried to help the others escape. But within minutes, most of the family members were dead. Then Santa lifted the large gift box. Inside wasn't a present. It was a homemade flamethrower. He sprayed burning fuel across the room. The house exploded into flames. People screamed as the fire swallowed everything. When the smoke finally cleared, police found a scene beyond comprehension. Bodies were burned beyond recognition. The smell of smoke, blood, and melted plastic filled the air. The man responsible was Jeffrey Pardo, age 45. A man who once had everything: a respected engineer, a good job, a beautiful wife, Sylvia Ortega. Just 1 week earlier, their divorce had been finalized, and on Christmas Eve, he came for revenge. Investigators learned that Bruce had carefully planned the attack for months. He bought the Santa costume weeks before. He built the flamethrower himself, using a pressurized air tank and fuel lines. He filled it with gasoline. He also brought 4 handguns and over 200 rounds of ammunition. His plan was simple: kill his ex-wife and her entire family. After the massacre, Bruce drove 30 miles to his brother's home. He was severely burned. The Santa suit had melted into his skin. There he took his own life with a gunshot to the head. When police found his body, he still had $17,000 melted into the fabric of his costume. He had planned to flee, but his injuries made escape impossible. Back at the Ortega home, firefighters discovered that the explosion had been caused by Bruce's flamethrower. The temperature was so high that parts of the house turned to ash. 9 lives were lost. 3 others were badly injured. 13 children were left without parents. Among the dead were Joseph and Alicia Ortega, their children, and Sylvia herself. Leticia, the sister who escaped, lost 9 relatives that night. Her parents, 2 brothers, 2 sisters, their spouses, and a teenage nephew, gone forever. As investigators searched Bruce's house, they found boxes of ammunition, explosives, and bomb-making materials. They also found a second car he had rented, filled with food, maps, water, and gasoline. It was parked near the home of Scott Nord, Sylvia's divorce lawyer. Detectives realized that after the massacre, Bruce had planned to kill the lawyer next, then flee across the country. But his burns stopped him. The deeper they looked, the darker the truth became. Bruce's life wasn't as perfect as it seemed. Years before, he had a secret child with another woman, a baby boy named Matthew. When the child was only 13 months old, he fell into a swimming pool and nearly drowned. He survived, but was left permanently disabled. He would never walk again. Bruce abandoned both mother and son, refusing to visit them ever again. He only paid the minimum court-ordered support. When Sylvia found out about this, she was horrified. She realized the man she had married wasn't who she thought he was. Their marriage began to fall apart. Bruce lost interest in her, gained weight after a knee injury, and became increasingly bitter. When Sylvia finally left him, he lost control. The divorce hit him hard. He was ordered to pay thousands in support, and he blamed Sylvia's family for turning her against him. That anger grew into hate, and that hate turned into a plan that ended in blood. The forensic report revealed that Bruce had used the flamethrower to ignite the fire after the shootings. 4 victims died from both bullets and fire. 2 others burned beyond recognition. The rest shot at point-blank range. It took dental records to identify most of the remains. The tragedy shocked not just Covina, but the entire nation. Every Christmas since, the quiet town of Covina lights candles for the victims of that night. Families gather not just to celebrate, but to remember, because now Christmas Eve in Covina means something very different. It's no longer just about family and joy. It's a reminder of how one man's hatred destroyed everything pure about the season. This is the story of Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, a man who dressed as Santa Claus to commit one of the darkest crimes in history. The night when Christmas turned into a nightmare. What do you think of this horrific act? Leave your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime stories. Thank you for watching. And remember, even on the happiest night of the year, monsters can wear a smile.